John, it is fantastic to see you again, as usual.
Thanks, Sue. I'm getting like a piece of the furniture. I keep coming back.
Yeah.
I'll set you away in case there's depth for that. Sue, she's stalking me already. No, it's right, Sue. It's okay.
I'm okay here.
Okay.
Not causing any problems.
Right, over to you, Sue.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you've been working with William Shatner, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah, shall I give you a brief history of who and what I am?
Go on.
Who's got no idea who I am? Thank you. Bye. Right, thank you, Wayne.
You can tell that story.
Anyway, I got to William Shatner in a minute. Yeah, I've been a martial arts practitioner for 48 years. I'm very old. And I'm also a trained actor and a stuntman and a fight choreographer. I've been in lots of things. You used to watch the British Empire. Yeah? I was in that for, I think, 5 seasons as a character called Patrick. And if it ever comes back, which hopefully it might, I'm going to be brought in as this full character who's a martial arts instructor with Mr. British. That's going to be crazy. I met Gene Roddenberry years ago when I was a young Star Trek fan. And Gene inspired me to become an actor, follow my dreams, which I did. I eventually got to work on Star Trek. I've done martial arts films, I've done action films. And, well, you'll see me popping up there everywhere because you go, oh, I recognise him now, hopefully. So that's what I do. There's never enough acting work about. We all starve, us for actors. As Martin over there will tell you, Martin, we're starving, aren't we? We are. So I've got a martial arts school, and that school is that pays my bills, almost. So, yeah, William Shatner. I also do close protection sometimes. And because of my association with Star Trek, there's a place called Ticonderoga. It's in upstate New York, and they've recreated the Star Trek sets as they were originally, down to the minute details. All the lighting, the sound effects, every single set they had in Desilu Studios is laid out exactly the way it was then. It's amazing. So if ever you want to go to the original Starship Enterprise, that's the place to go, all right? William Shatner, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, went there to help open it. And because of my association with Star Trek, I met William Shatner years ago, looked after him twice. He wouldn't know me, too long ago, but they asked me to go back, and I did. And I'm now William Shatner's close protection. And not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, I fly off again, I'm boldly going, to the sets to look after William Shatner again. What makes it,
Go for it.
what made this amazing for me? I've always been a Captain Kirk fan. Who knows who Captain Kirk is? Whew, that's a bit of luck. Okay. I grew up loving Bruce Lee and Captain Kirk, so I trained in Bruce Lee's martial art, became a master, so-called, in that art, and I got into Star Trek. But I never got to work with William Shatner because classic Star Trek was gone. So the chance to look after him was amazing. And I was very nervous, and I thought, I've heard that he can be very awkward. But it turned out that he is quite an amazing man. And I'll tell you a couple of stories. There was 1,400 people there on this tour. I think about 200 of them have paid $1,500 each, which is quite a lot, for William Shatner to take them round the sets and explain what they did where. Okay? So for a special tour of William Shatner, because he's quite exposed, there's no barriers there, they would say, John, just stick beside him. So we all went, I went. And he got into the engineering set where Scotty used to be. And he said to everyone, any questions? And someone said, yeah, why did you have lots of fight scenes in the engineering set? And he said, well, there's lots of space, and we used to, then he went, where's John? And I said, here I am, Bill. And he grabbed me by the arms and introduced me. He said, John's a martial arts master. He's my close protector, he's my bodyguard, and he used to be a stuntman. Pardon me for saying this naughty word. Who thinks I can kick John's ass? And they all went. And he said, I'm still Captain Kirk. He said, I'm 88, but I'm still Captain Kirk. So everyone's going, I'm going. So he turned to me and went, go with it. And all of a sudden, he starts punching and hooking it. And I'm crashing everywhere, and in the end, he smashes on the floor and goes, I'm Captain Kirk. And everyone loved it. So he stood up and he hugged me. He said, how did I do? I said, not bad for a beginner, Bill. So there's still 3 more tours to do on that particular thing. Next time we get to engineering, I thought, surely he won't. I wonder, all of a sudden, come here, John. So I've looked after him now for 3 years on these sets. They call me over there twice a year. I go out to dinner with him, I get to know him. And every time we got on those sets, he beats me up. Oh, how can he do that? So I've got to know him on a personal basis, and he's quite an amazing man. For 88, he said to me, "Do you know the secret of long life?" I said, "No." He went, "Just don't die." Well, that works for me. Yeah, so at the moment, I'm still an actor, I still teach the martial arts, but I'm William Shatner's close protection. For me, that's such an honour, you know?
That must be absolutely fantastic, and he comes across as someone with such great sense of humour and everything.
Yeah, you never know when he's putting you on or not. On the last tour I did with him in June, he said to me, how can we make this different? I said, "When you kick my ass." So he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, this time, don't introduce me. Just get to the engineering sets, and there's the people in front where you are." I said, "I'll manoeuvre myself." And I said, "Just knock me out." "That's a good idea. We'll do it." Right. So he's talking about, this is the engineering panel, and there's the dilithium crystals. And I start turning my back to the audience. So I'm beside him. And all of a sudden he went, and he said a naughty word, "You," and went, bang. Hit me across the face, and I crashed onto the floor. Everyone went, "Oh." Poor old William Shatner's lost it. 88-year-old man, he's lost it. He stood over me and went, "I'm Captain Kirk." And they still didn't applaud, because I thought it was real. And he went, "John's my dear friend, you're not dead." I went, "Yes, I am. I'm dead, Jim." So, yeah. He picked me up and hugged me, and yeah, so he still beats me up. I've been privileged to see Star Trek from in front of the cameras, because I've been in various incarnations of Star Trek. You see on my table there, Klingons and Starfleet officers and all this stuff. And one thing I don't tell you, you know Klingon teeth? The ridgehead Klingons don't have good teeth, okay? The classic series Klingons have good teeth, but they put these pointed teeth that are made for you, put them in your mouth. When I went to do Star Trek Renegades, which is an incarnation of Star Trek, they never had time to mould my gums into these teeth. So they gave me a pair of stock teeth, yeah? And I had a line that said, "Can you not see my pulchritudinous face?" Well, pulchritudinous means beautiful. I'd rehearsed a line about the teeth in, and I wanted to go, "Can you not see my pulchritudinous face?" Put the teeth in, "Can you not see the Yeah, Tim Ross, who plays Tuvok, the Vulcan in Voyager, he was the director. And Tim is not a patient man. So I tried to do the lines pulchritudinous. If you say pulchritudinous with false teeth. So they had to take them out, and they said, "We'll black your teeth up." You see a picture on my table. So they've got stuff they call nicotine. They painted it on my teeth, did my scenes, great, oh, great, you know. Came back, I said, "Okay, can I have a toothbrush?" They said, "Oh, it doesn't brush off. We have to scrape it off." So I'm in makeup, and they're going, "My pulchritudinous teeth." So if ever you have to have your teeth blacked up, don't use stuff called nicotine. Right? Yeah, so over to you.
No, absolutely fine, absolutely fine. That doesn't sound fun, but in terms of Klingon makeup, in terms of being a Klingon, what's the greatest awesomest thing about being a Klingon? They come across as being
Well, in my career I've played goodies and baddies, and it's always more fun to be a baddie. But you can't play a bad person as if they know they're a bad person. Anyone who's we call a bad person thinks they're good. So you have to play it with honesty because they think they're doing the right thing. Like President Trump does at the moment. I'm sure that's a Romulan or a Klingon. Yeah. So it's good to be, the children mustn't do this, it's good to be bad, but not for real. It's really good fun being a person like that. The ridge-headed Klingons are much more this and that and this. But the classic Klingons, instead of the beards, you can really, get into those characters because they're very crafty and stuff. The other Klingons with the ridgeheads, they've got two settings on their disruptors: die and die horribly. That's their setting. So it's fun to be a baddie.
It does sound absolutely brilliant, brilliant fun. And didn't you appear in the Star Trek production with your wife?
Yes, my wife's called Anne, and she was a really good seamstress. So I took her over there, and she helped add some things on the costume. And then because she's a very forceful person, whose wife isn't forceful? They said, well, she's very gutsy, she'd make a good female Klingon. And they'd written my character, Captain Carl. I was in 8 episodes of this thing. Got my own big Klingon battle cruiser in the seat. They said, you need a first officer. So my wife then undertook drama lessons, and they gave her a chance, and she did great as a Klingon first officer. And I helped to coach her in drama, okay? And it's the only time in my life I've ever told her what to do, and she's done it. Because usually you get... And lived. Yeah, don't you tell me what to do. We've had that, haven't we? Don't you tell me what to do. Yeah. So, about that, the Klingon in, as a classic Klingon, Captain Carl, is very theatrical. He's very... So, she came in as very matter-of-fact. If you've got overplaying, underplaying. If you've got 2 people overplaying a part, it looks like a pantomime. Boom, 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 boom. So she was very matter-of-fact, and Carl was very this, and she was very... No. So it worked very well. But yeah, I didn't get to kill her off, that's all right.
So once again, you got to live.
I got to
This is
live.
good. This is very good indeed.
Yeah, my friend over there on my table, by the way, you can all come and see my photos and stuff on the table. On the left is Dave Wardell, right? He's such a lovely person. Dave is also a martial arts stunt fighter and things, and he's been in 2 films with me, and I've killed him in both of them. So dying is a living. I've died loads of times. The guy on the right-hand side is making out it's not him. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the really ugly one with bumps in his clothes. Yeah, yet another Captain America. He's Andrew Smith, and Andrew and I have just had meetings. They want us both to be in the martial arts films together. So I'm going to go to Hong Kong with Andrew, and he's just a pub one, he's just a fledgling, but I'll make sure I look after him. And he can get killed off, but hopefully I'll live. So yeah, that's what's to come for us two. That's right, Dave. Yeah. Next time you won't die.
It's going to be interesting how that plays out. And actually, mentioning fight choreography. So, what are the important things to remember about that?
Right, you've got 2 kinds of fight choreography. One is theatre. Okay, you get 1 take at it, and you have to do theatre. We'll go through this when we do the superhero fight school. Please sign on for it. Put your names there. We're going to give you an hour. All right, we'll teach you kicking, punching, blocking, reacting. It's just not a continuous fight. You've got to act and react at the same time. And the most important thing about acting is not being caught doing it. So if you know he's going to punch you in a minute, you can't stand there going, okay? You've got to make it, it's just happening at that moment. So we'll teach you how to punch and kick, and maybe, block and act a small bit. Then you'll have 15 minutes to put together your own fight scenes, okay? Hopefully in 2s. Then we'll bring you out, it's the scary bit. And you do your fight scenes here for the audience, and for us, it's kind of like X Factor, I like Simon Cowell. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll be judging you, and Wayne, I asked him to, has brought 2 wonderful trophies, real trophies. So whatever twosome, male, female, whatever, lizard, whoever does the best fight scene will get these 2 trophies. All right? So hopefully we'll teach you how to fight safely. One of the most important things when you're doing this is you count the beats. A punch could be a beat, a block could be a beat, a step could be a beat. So you're each on the same page. And we'll teach you how to react. It's no good if I'm teaching you to do this, and you do that when they're doing that. Okay? So you act, and you have to have eye-to-eye contact. Because I've done lots of live stunt shows, lots of live theatre, and sometimes you look in the person's eyes, and the lights are on, but no one's home. They've totally forgotten the fight scene. Yeah? I did a fight scene in a place called Minster Lovell. 2,000 people in the audience, it was Batman. Yeah. I had the full batsuit, Warner Brothers batsuit, sliding on this thing, big building, which blows up at the end. And things go wrong. They fitted me for the cowl, but in Michael Keaton's cowl, you couldn't turn your neck. So I choreographed it, these guys were fighting me with real machetes, so the sparks would look stupid stuff. So sparks would look good. And one of my stunt guys called Glenn was supposed to come in from the side with a machete, and I turn and look at him, and I kick him through this, like load of boxes so it can land on this thing, safely. We rehearsed it to an nth degree. A couple of thousand people watching it on Friday night. The fights are going great. The music's going great. I get rid of this person. Another one tries to shoot me with a shotgun. I put my hands over the front of it. It backfires and blows this guy up. All the special effects are great. Then I thought, okay, Glenn's turn. I couldn't turn my head to look at him because the bat suit wouldn't turn. And I knew Glenn was running with a machete in his hand. I remember thinking, oh, Glenn, I'm sorry about this. And I had to do a side kick. For real. And I felt an impact and heard, then went crashing off. I had to carry on with the fight scene. And at the end of this, the Batman's building the Joker's building blows up. By this time, everyone should have been gone. And there's a girl that was rescued, and I put the bat cloak over her. It's fireproof, and all the sparks come down, and we didn't realise that Glenn was incapacitated, and he's laying underneath where all the explosions and things happen. So we're doing our bow. I've looked up, and out comes Glenn. So when it's live, you don't get a second chance. If you're doing a film, obviously you can cut. They take continuity photos. You can have your lunch, pick it up where you left off. Provided you haven't got loads of tomato sauce in your mouth or something like that. But so live stunt shows are more difficult. So when we plot the angles in there, I'll be teaching you how to do through or to. What looks like a punch from where you are wouldn't look like it there because you'll see a miss. Okay? So you've got to think, when you do it for the audience, the camera's there. But some people will see it different from there. So hopefully when we do the superhero fight school, I was hoping for a few more superhero costumes. Perhaps the Power Rangers will come and join. We'll do that. Okay? Has anyone got any other questions about anything?
Absolutely. Any questions?
Any questions?
So you acted as different combatants. Do you have a different fight style that you might adopt for each one?
Absolutely. Because you can't have someone in medieval times going jab, cross, hook, uppercut, overhand. Doesn't work. So if you play a role, it's going to be specific to that time period. And what character are you? How strong are you compared to the person you're fighting? What are you wearing? Is there any props to be used in this? Sometimes you have to do sword fencing. Sometimes you're smashing someone with a chair. If it's a martial arts film, you're going to be a good martial artist. The Power Rangers will be good martial artists. Captain America will be a good martial artist. But a cowboy will be totally different. So you've got to be specific to who you are. So when we go in there for the fight scenes, make up whoever's in charge of each of you. If you have two of you that put it together, that's great. But one of you sometimes has to take the lead. Because, you can get more decided with two people than you can with 50, because everyone's got a different opinion. So if you're going to come and do this, think who your character is, what their superpowers are, if they've got any superpowers, okay? And then you make it fit that. Good question, a very good question. Any more from anyone?
Yeah, any other questions?
In my martial arts journey, what's the worst injury I've had? Over 48 years, I've had 21 broken bones. Some of that from stunt work. You get broken in different pieces. This bone was broken by... It's wrong to say this, but things happen. I've been challenged by various people, for real. There's no point being a martial artist if you're not there to back it up. You have to, things happen. And someone said they challenged me to a fight, we'll have a light fight. We'll have a light fight. So I agreed. And the first kick, I blocked it, shattered the back of my hand. What would that light kick have done to my face? So then I kicked up a gear and it worked. I've had lots of injuries martial arts wise, but the worst injury I've ever had was in a stunt, not the martial arts. But it was in a fight scene. I had to be head-butted, and then there was 21 stone, I think I've told this story before, 21 stone steps behind me, going down. There was about a 4-foot gap and a wall. Yeah? The stunt ranger said, you can do the stair fall, you roll, so you can, various ways to fall, but it's really hard stairs. So I said, I'll roll up after I get hit and come backwards, and he said, yeah, but the momentum you get, you're going to hit this wall. So ego steps in. Oh, if I hit the wall, I'll take it. Invulnerable martial arts expert, superhero. So And the thing was, what made this more difficult, my friend Dave was there, yeah? Friend Dave was there again. And the BBC and ITV turned up the news to see us filming this film. So you got 2 film units. So it made me even more dun dun dun. Interviewed me before it, I beat up one of the reporters, showing how the fight scene goes. And then, action, we do this, I get headbutted. I throw myself down these 21 steps, and 4 steps from the end, rather than keeping rolled up, I pushed back my legs, cannoned myself into the wall. I remember nothing else. When you see the footage of it, the BBC and ITV, you see this bit fly out the wall, and my legs go like that. Right? I woke up outside in the road, and my head in someone's, arms. First thing I said was, "Did you get the shot?" Then they said, yes. So they said, "Well, the ambulance is here. We'll get the stretcher." I went, "Oh no!" So I stood up. I'm going to walk in the ambulance. There's footage of me on the BBC holding my head together, getting the ambulance, and then So I had a massive gash across the back of my head, and Dave, bless him, one of my best friends in the world, they let me go out of hospital because I insisted. So Dave sat up with me all night. This bit's a bit icky, and I was projectile vomiting all night long, concussion. Anyway, this carried on, and I had to have tablets under my tongue because what happened, my vagus nerve, it sounds horrible, which is the base of your brain. Because I was spinning when I hit the wall, I stopped, but my brain carried on for a second. So I damaged, and I used to have to have a tablet under my tongue 15 minutes before I got up, and that lasted for a year. But luckily, I survived it, and it made me realise, right, no more bursting the flames, I can act. So now I still do all my own fight scenes, but I no longer just do stunt work. I fight as a character with dialogue, but the days of being Mr. Macho, invulnerable stuntman finished. It's a hard lesson to learn, but I'm still here to teach it.
I think that's the most important thing when you learn how to keep yourself in one piece.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you are.
Thank you, Sue.
I've got time for one more question.
One more, then it's fight school. Yes, sir.
Who's the hardest person you've ever had to work with? As in, like, most difficult person to work with?
In the industry?
Yeah.
Well, you've got some are directors, and some are actors, and some are people that you hear are pains, and they turn out to be nice, but some are people you think, oh, I've admired this person, and they're complete. I'll just say one thing. Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer, he's overweight now, he hasn't worked for years, and there's no wonder to that because he's not a nice person. When he did Batman, they thought, yeah. He and Robert De Niro did the same thing on Frankenstein, right? They left orders that no one on the set should engage their eyes, and definitely no one speak to them. So a lighting technician, Robert De Niro, was walking by, said, "Good morning, Mr. De Niro." Boom, gone. So, and Val Kilmer was very much the same thing. If everyone looked at him, he'd look at them and, I don't know where this comes from. It's insecurity. An actor's life is a very insecure one because you're told no so often. For every one part you get, you might have 100 auditions, right? So unless you're strong inside and secure in who you are, you've got nothing to prove to anybody. Like if you train the martial arts, whatever, you feel secure, you don't have to worry about going, you can just be you. I mean, I look like nothing, and I can handle myself a little bit, all right? So, unfortunately, Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer were not very nice people. Sorry, I hope you're not listening, Mr. De Niro, but you are tough. Anyway, perhaps they change. William Shatner had this reputation of being very awkward. There's loads of stories. One of my best friends is Walter Koenig, who played Chekhov. I've stayed in Walter's house, he stayed in mine. I used to go for breakfast with George Takei. I'm not saying this to make myself look big, I was involved with all these people. And they all hated William Shatner because in the series they loved him, he was great. But when the movies came along, he changed, they said. And I thought Kurt was an amazing character, I loved Kurt. And I was disappointed, though, isn't it a shame if William Shatner is like that? I'd heard these stories. And when I looked after him, I thought, well, maybe he'll shake my hand, and that's the most interaction. Perhaps I'll be invisible, you know. But the man has been through a massive change, and he said to me, he said, he's 88 now, and the years he's got left, his job is to give back, yeah, and make up for anything that he may have done in the past. He wants to give back. And so I've seen him hugging and crying with disabled people, you know. There's one great story before we stop here. When the 1,400 people were on these sets in Ticonderoga, if you look up Star Trek set tour, and they'll show these pictures and everything else, he'd been there for 2 days, non-stop, making sure he personalised all the autographs, hugging people that needed hugs. And I'm going, wow. And he finished, he'd gone into the green room, and people had gone home, and then we heard this screeching of brakes, and this car drew up outside. Something, and there's his father with his son. And he's all stressed. He said, oh, we've been driving across America and everything went wrong, and have I missed it? And the guy called James Corley, who owns the Star Trek sets, he's got the license from CBS, he said, well, yeah, Mr. Shatner's bureau, we're going to close. He said, but wait there. And James went into the green room, and this boy had autism. And he told Bill, and Bill said, send the father in. Send the father. So the father went into the green room, and Bill Shatner heard about the boy. And the father said, he loves Star Trek, and he only comes alive for Captain Kirk. So Bill said, this is incredible, makes me feel amazing. And he grabbed the guy's hand, you know, and he said to him, bring your son, bring him in. And William Shatner's William Shatner, he does the odd Kirk point and things like this, you know. When the boy came in, all of a sudden, I'm Captain Kirk. And he was Captain Kirk. This boy was, and it was a moment that made your skin tingle. And he hugged him and signed autographs with him and spoke to him, and the father cried and Bill Shatner cried. So, what a good note to end on. This is what this is all about. It's not about making money or anything else. It's about the feeling everyone gets from a thing like this. If you can give back, you should give back, all right? So he's going to come and kick each other to pieces next door with me, isn't he?
Come on. You got the opportunity to go on. Also, John,
Yes.
thank you so much. It has been wonderful.
My pleasure.
Asking a few little questions while you've been telling amazing stories.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you for interviewing me. Thanks for everybody. Come next door. Thank you.